Welcome back to Mythstory and Legends, where we delve deep into the myths that shaped ancient civilizations and continue to fascinate us today. In this episode, we continue our epic series on Heracles, the mightiest of heroes in Greek mythology. Today, we're exploring his seventh labor, the daring capture of the formidable Cretan Bull. Stay tuned as we embark on a journey filled with danger, strategy, and Herculean strength. Heracles is a figure of immense strength and courage, considered by many as the greatest of the Greek heroes. The son of Zeus and the mortal Alcmene, Heracles was destined for greatness and turmoil from birth, thanks to the jealous wrath of Hera, wife of Zeus. To atone for a grievous act committed under Hera's vengeful influence, Heracles was tasked with completing 12 nearly impossible labors. Each labor, designed by King Eurystheus, tested Heracles' abilities to their limits. From slaying the Nemean lion to cleaning the Augean stables, his feats have become legendary. Now, let's see how he fared with his seventh challenge. The Cretan Bull, a magnificent beast that roamed the island of Crete, was more than just a wild animal. It was steeped in divine intrigue. Born from the sea, given as a sign by Poseidon, the bull was initially intended as a sacrifice by King Minos to prove his right to the throne. However, Minos, awed by its beauty, decided to keep it, incurring Poseidon's wrath. This bull not only sired the infamous Minotaur, but also became a symbol of Crete's might and Minos' hubris. As dawn broke over the Aegean Sea, Heracles set sail from the shores of Tiryns, destined for the island of Crete, home to the formidable Cretan Bull. His ship cut through the waves, the horizon stretched wide before him, a symbol of the daunting task that lay ahead. The sea was not just a physical barrier, but a mythical one, filled with creatures and gods whose whims could decide the fate of all travelers. Upon arriving in Crete, Heracles was met not with hostility, but curiosity. King Minos, the ruler of Crete, had been troubled by the bull's havoc across his land. The bull was no ordinary creature. It was a divine beast that had eluded capture, laying waste to fields and frightening the populace. Minos, aware of Heracles' reputation and his divine lineage, granted him permission to take the bull if he could. As Heracles prepared for his encounter, he observed the bull from a distance, noting its habits and the sheer power it exhibited. The bull's hide shimmered like polished bronze under the Cretan sun. Its eyes burned with a fierce intelligence. Heracles knew that brute strength alone would not suffice. This labor would require cunning. As the golden sun rose over the island of Crete, casting long shadows on the ancient olive groves and rugged mountainsides, Heracles prepared for the day that would see him face one of his most formidable challenges yet. The air was crisp, tinged with the salty breeze from the surrounding Aegean Sea, which shimmered under the early light like a vast expanse of moving glass. Heracles had spent days observing the Cretan bull, studying its behavior, understanding its routines. The bull was not merely a beast. It was a creature of divine origin, gifted to King Minos by Poseidon himself. Its coat, a radiant white that glinted off the sun's rays, made it a beacon against the lush, dark green of the Cretan plains. The muscles along its flanks rippled with raw power, each breath a snort of fog in the chill morning air, each step a thunderous declaration of its might. The bull's territory was a vast pasture bordered by steep cliffs on one side and the forest on another. Heracles watched from a distance, hidden beneath the canopy of a gnarled olive tree. He noted how the bull marked its territory, charging at small groups of wild goats that ventured too close, its horns glistening with the morning dew as they caught the light. The plan was simple yet required an execution of precision and immense bravery. Heracles would confront the bull at the watering hole where it drank each morning, leveraging the element of surprise to gain the upper hand. As he made his final preparations, checking the strength of the ropes he would use to bind the beast, Heracles fortified himself with a prayer to his father, Zeus, asking for the strength and courage he would need. When Heracles approached the watering hole, the bull was already there, its massive head lowered to the water. The sound of the bull drinking was like a deep, bubbling brook, a contrast to the quiet tension that filled the air. Heracles moved slowly, his footfalls silent on the soft earth. As he drew closer, a branch snapped under his weight. The bull raised its head, water dripping from its massive jaws, and fixed Heracles with a stare that was both curious and daunting. The standoff lasted but a moment before Heracles charged, his shout a battle cry that echoed off the cliffs. The bull responded in kind, its own roar a terrifying sound that sent smaller animals scurrying for cover. It charged, head lowered, horns aimed directly at Heracles. The dance was deadly. Heracles dodged the first charge, feeling the wind from the bull's horns brush against his skin. He rolled to the side, his movements honed from years of battling beasts and monsters. The bull turned, quicker than one would expect from such a large creature, and charged again. This time, Heracles stood his ground, stepping aside at the last possible moment to grab the bull by its horns. The struggle that followed was titanic. Heracles wrestled with the bull, his strength against the beast. He was dragged across the field, his feet ploughing furrows in the soft earth as he struggled to gain control. The bull bucked and twisted, trying to shake off Heracles, who clung on with grim determination. Sweat poured down his brow, mixing with the dirt and the blood from where the bull's horns had grazed him. Heracles' strategy was to wear the bull down, to use its own momentum against it. He shifted his weight, pulling the bull into a spin. The creature's hooves dug into the earth as it fought to resist, but Heracles' power was relentless. Finally, with a mighty heave, he flipped the bull onto its side. It landed with a thud that seemed to shake the ground, a bellow of defeat escaping its lungs. Quickly, Heracles leapt onto the bull's back, using his ropes to bind its legs and neck. The bull thrashed, but the bindings were strong, and Heracles' knots held. With the creature subdued, he allowed himself a moment to catch his breath, his chest heaving with exhaustion and triumph. The battle had been fierce, a test of wills between a demi-god and a divine beast, watched only by the ancient trees and the distant mountains. As Heracles led the bound bull away, the island seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The locals, who had kept their distance but watched the ordeal, approached to thank the hero. Heracles acknowledged them with a nod, his thoughts already turning to the journey back to Eurystheus. The task had been grueling, but the bull was his, and another labor was complete. The return journey to Tiryns was no less daunting. Heracles, with the Cretan Bull in tow, faced storms and threats from sea creatures stirred into a frenzy by Poseidon, still angered by Minos' refusal to sacrifice the bull. Yet, Heracles' resolve did not waver. He delivered the bull to Eurystheus, who was both amazed and terrified at the sight of the divine creature. Eurystheus, ever fearful of Heracles' growing power, quickly commanded that the bull be released. It eventually roamed free, finding its way to the plains of Marathon, where it would become known as the Marathonian Bull, setting the stage for future legends. The seventh labor not only demonstrated Heracles' physical prowess, but also his ability to adapt and overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. The labor had deeper implications, symbolizing man's struggle against nature's untamable forces and the quest to bring order to chaos. The story of the Cretan Bull did not end with Heracles. It became intertwined with other significant myths, including the story of Theseus and the Minotaur. The bull's lineage contributed to the birth of the Minotaur, adding layers to the tapestry of Greek mythology that emphasized themes of pride, punishment, and redemption. In culture, the image of the Cretan Bull has been depicted in numerous artworks, from ancient murals to Renaissance sculptures, symbolizing strength and ferocity. The myth has been a source of inspiration for literature and art, reminding us of the timeless nature of these ancient stories and their continued relevance in modern times. In this episode, we have journeyed with Heracles through one of his less celebrated, but equally challenging labors. The seventh labor of capturing the Cretan Bull encapsulates the essence of heroism, combining sheer strength with sharp intellect. As we reflect on Heracles' adventures, we see not just a hero defeating monsters, but a man confronting his destiny, shaped by divine forces and his own choices. Join us next time on Mythstory and Legends as we explore the eighth labor of Heracles, where he faces the man-eating mares of Diomede. Until then, keep the legends alive by sharing these stories that have captivated human imagination for millennia.